Now, the next criteria we want to look at is evidence that you have been asked to judge the work of others, either individually or in a panel. So this is actually one of the very, let me say, easy criteria. Usually in a lot of cases I've seen a lot of people meet this criteria, and a lot of people are also able to effectively argue it, and the USIs always accept it. Usually they accept their arguments. But again, there is still something I see people don't do, which I'm going to talk about. So a lot of people are able to meet it in short, but there's something you need to always do. Remember that thing I said, for each criteria, you need to bring it home. Bringing it home is describing how that criteria, that judging role that you have done, how it makes you top of your field, how it makes you an expert. That is what is going to be propelling the whole of your petition and the whole of your case. You are not just providing the documentary evidence alone. You also provide a context and hitting the nail on the bar to show that you are really an expert in your field. You are someone with extraordinary ability. Remember, you don't need to be an Einstein to actually qualify for this EB1A. You just need to find a way to tell your story, to argue your case, and to sell yourself, basically, to the USCIS officer. Okay, so what we want to look at is judging the work of others. So these criteria basically involve evaluating the work of others, irrespective of the kind of work, whether it's a research work, academic work, a competition, and those kind of things. So, and it can either be individually or in a panel. So one key thing is that the judging role should be in your field of expertise. So the work you have judged should be in the same field or closely related. The purpose of judging, or what it wants to fulfill, is that you want to use it to show leadership and authority in the field. You want to use it to demonstrate that you have contributed to peer evaluation, if it is, and peer endorsements. So basically, those are the kind of things it shows. So what are the different types of judging activities? So if somebody is a researcher, usually, or maybe a PhD student that is towards graduating, a PhD candidate, or you have almost graduated, a postdoc and stuff like that, it is expected to, maybe usually you would have started reviewing the works of others in terms of journals and those kind of things. So if you have reviewed journals, those kind of, or papers, scholarly articles, those kind of work qualify as judging the work of others. And if you have not done so, you need to start positioning yourself. So you can talk with your advisor, with your PI, with your professors, with your seniors, your mentors, that you are looking for opportunity to join the work of others. And when they see those kind of opportunity, they can share it with you. So also we have judging competitions. So if you act as a judge in competitions, any type of competition, usually any type of competitions we work within your field, then you can qualify for this. So conference panels too, sometimes you judge, you evaluate other people's work in conferences, poster presentations and things like that. If you're a developer, a software engineer, you review other people's work in terms of code review and those kind of stuff. Hackathon, it can work. If you judge in professional organizations, maybe elevation of people to higher members and those kinds of things, and you judge their work in order to approve them whether they are going to get promoted. So if you have judged the work of others in conferences, academic conferences and those kind of things, they will usually qualify. Professional organizations, like for example, maybe in the elevation of members to senior members, admitting members, those kind of things, where you review their work and you determine whether they get to join, those kind of things will qualify. Editorial board membership, those kind of judgings, reviewing books, grants, scholarships, admissions, committees, those kind of things we judge. Reviewing other people's writings, maybe you are a writer, you are an exhibitor, and you review people's artistic work, they will usually qualify. So how do you present this evidence? To present this evidence, usually you need to provide key documentation that shows that you actually judge. So the official invitation for your judging, the event details, the judging and selection criteria, and sometimes you could also give information context to show that you are really an expert. In terms of competitions, for example, what are the other kind of judges? So when you provide more context, you can tell us your role. What do you do when you judge? So is it what just anybody can do, or what just experts in your field are able to do? So those are contests. Then you link it to your expertise in terms of, okay, by judging in this kind of competition, in this hackathon, by reviewing the work of others, it really shows you are rising to the top of your field, that you are judging the work of others that are also experts in the field. So it means you are an expert. So you can include supporting materials like event results. Then if there is an expert endorsement in terms of your judging role, you can also add all those things. So again, those contests are important. You use it to sell yourself. For sometimes there are some judging roles that USIS doesn't really like, or in recent times that they are getting RFE. An example is maybe you judge the work of like maybe high school students, middle school student competitions. Sometimes USIS give RFE for it, and you really look like, oh, why are they giving RFE? The thing is, everything you must be able to link it with your expertise. So it is that linking with expertise and showing and that context that really matters. If you are claiming to be a scientist, for example, or an innovator, or those kind of stuff, and you judge the work of others, maybe high school competition that is not even related to your work, then that's what you should expect. But if somebody is an academic, for example, and you are claiming to be a STEM advocate, and you are saying that you have extraordinary ability as a STEM advocate, and you are showing your work, then if you've judged the work of others that are high school students in a competition, like some robotics competitions, some writing competitions, science competitions, and those kind of things, it will really work, because that work really aligns, and you are able to tell us that by doing this judging role, it really shows that you are promoting STEM education. You are doing something that is going to help the future of the United States in terms of promoting STEM education, getting more people, underrepresented groups into STEM, and catching them as early as possible. So what are the common reasons for RFE? One of the common reasons of RFE is if you are a judge in an unrelated field. So if for example, if you are a writer and you went to judge in a science competition, then it may not really work. You understand what I'm trying to say? Or you are an attorney, then you want to do a judge in a business competition that does not relate to your legal practitioner role, then it may not really work. You are a chemist, then you went to judge a maths competition, and you're unable to tell us and describe to us how that maths really makes you a better expert in chemistry, then it may not really work. And usually they do not really align very well. So you want to make sure that the field you are judging, it aligns with your the field you are judging, it aligns with your expertise. Yeah. So another reason for RFE is when you fail to link your judging to your expertise. So it may result, especially if you meet a USIS officer that is a little bit strict. So another thing is lack of when your role within the judging role, especially if it is a panel, it is not well defined. So if it is a panel that you judge in a group, you need to be able to explain to us what is your role, what is your exact role in that panel. So a lot of people can be in the panel and they are not doing judging role. Maybe they are doing some other thing. Maybe they are the one just collating the results and those kind of things like that. So explain to us your role and tell us the significance of that role. So if you fail to do all these things or to put some context into your judging role, then it can result into RFE. Then another thing is insufficient documentation. So you need evidences. You need evidences to show. So all those emails, you can print it out. Again, another thing you need to add is apart from the fact that the acceptance email for your judging role, usually you need a letter. There's always a notification that after you've judged a lot of roles, They can give you a letter that, okay, thank you for participating as a judge, all those kind of things. Or maybe you have a certificate, you need to include it. And if the judging role you did do not have any of these things, you can reach out to the coordinators, tell them what you want to do. Like, okay, I'm applying for this thing and I just need a letter to say that I was a judge and that described my role. Then they give you. When they give you, then it is a very important piece of evidence that you need to add, a document that you need to add to your petition. So basically, the checklist that you want to include within your judging role criteria is formal invitations, event descriptions and significance, the details of your judging activities, the relevance of that judging role to your field, the evidence of your participation. You need it. So if you have pictures, maybe the day you judge with the participant, you can add it. There's nothing wrong with the picture. If there is an online blog, a media report about it, you can add it. Then if you have endorsement and letters from experts, maybe there's an expert, maybe the head of the judging or the organizers, you can get those letters as supporting letters to actually acknowledge and mention that you actually judge, describe your roles, and corroborate every other thing that you have said earlier.